Hey, before we get into this video, please note that it will contain spoilers for Xenoblade 3's story. If you don't want to get spoiled, please consider throwing this into your watch later folder so you can come back when you're ready. Alright, let's get into it. The Nopon Archsage. We all know that funny little guy, the guy full of whimsy, and the guy that gives you swimsuits in return for completing his challenges. But it is a little bit odd that he just has his own domain and can summon characters and enemies at his will. So, how much power is actually behind this fluffy little furball? Well, let's try to find out. Let's first try to figure out what in the world an Archsage actually is. And it turns out, Archsage isn't even a real word. Which makes this process a bit harder. However, I didn't take 12 years of English class for nothing, so let's try to break down this word. The prefix of this word is arch, and that means chief, primary, or highest. The word sage means one distinguished for wisdom. So, when we combine both of these words, we could conclude that it means the one who has the most wisdom. Combine Nopon with it, and we can say that the Nopon Archsage is the wisest Nopon over all the land. Okay, well, now we know that this is the wisest Nopon in all of Xenoblade. But even if you are wise, that doesn't mean you're powerful. So what powers does the Nopon Archsage have? Well, firstly, this guy seems to have his own world. This is a world that appears to be free from the bounds of the world we know. For example, when Xenoblade 1 and 2's worlds changed into one with the creation of Origin, what happened to the Nopon Archsage's world? Nothing. It just gained a pedestal because the place was admittedly looking a bit bare without it. So maybe he has the powers to create worlds, or he has the ability to travel between worlds, and he just decided this sky world was the best suited to his taste. I personally respect the decision. One aspect that is a bit hazy is his challenges. I mean, how does he create these challenges? Well, it's likely all a simulation, and the Nopon Archsage just makes up all these environments and enemies artificially. But that then brings up the question: how? Each enemy and environment is perfectly copied from the real-world counterpart. How does he get his hands on this? Does he have helpers that describe to him exactly what the enemies and environments look like? Has he been to those environments himself? Even then, there would likely be imperfections. This leads me to believe that he somehow has the data of everything in every world. Somehow, he got his hands on it, and now uses that data to create simulations that he puts the main cast of each game into. Which explains why he can mess with stuff like intentionally making the main cast weaker or making the enemy stronger than you would ever see in the game. Well, that's that figured out. But one thing that went under my radar initially was the portals. He literally can create portals between worlds, regardless what world it is. The best example of this is in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where he helps Rex and crew meet up with Shulk and Fiora from Xenoblade 1, and Elma from Xenoblade X. And the crazy thing is that by completing his challenges, he eventually allows all of them to go into Xenoblade 2's world. So obviously he can mess with the portals to only allow certain things to go in and out. Which I guess is fair. I mean, you don't want an ape the size of a skyscraper coming in and messing with the place. That pretty much is all the powers we know he has. But what does he use all of this great power for? We all remember the old adage, with great power comes great responsibility. Well, Nopons are not necessarily known for being good with responsibility sometimes. However, the Nopon Archsage, instead of using this power to take over worlds, just puts the player through the most pain they'll likely experience playing Xenoblade. Which I guess is better than making life and death a lie. He just uses his powers to create things he enjoys. And for some reason, that is watching the main cast go through these weird and unique challenges. He even rewards the cast with stuff like items or outfits for putting up with his silliness. He doesn't force them to do it if they don't want to, and allows them to come and go as they please. He just wants to sit back and watch some good fighting, and uses his powers to create those dream scenarios that he has. I respect him for doing what he loves, and using his power responsibly. But just for hypotheticals, let's assume Zed somehow found his way into the Nopon Archsage's portal. If Zed challenged the Nopon Archsage to a fight, who would win? The reason I chose Zed is because although he doesn't necessarily have the fighting capabilities of other prominent Xenoblade villains, he's arguably the most powerful. He literally hijacked Origin and made life and death a lie. If that doesn't scream the most powerful villain, then I don't know what does. It's not like the Nopon Archsage would win in a fist fight anyway. So let's first take a look at the powers that Zed has. He has the ability to change reality around him to whatever he desires, and the only thing that could break that is Noah's Lucky 7. He also has a lot of Mobius who do actually have fighting capabilities at his disposal, which makes up for the lack of fighting capabilities he has. For the Nopon Archsage, well, he has the entire code of the universe, including Zed actually. In fact, he can just make Mobius show up in his challenges. So it could just be Mobius versus Mobius action, and while Mobius are limited, well, the Nopon Archsage could just spawn Mobius and other people too. Remember him spawning all those Nopon in that one challenge? Yeah, he could just spawn up all the best fighters in the universe. This is an easy win for the Nopon Archsage, right? Well, hang on a second, this isn't as cut and dry as it may initially seem. Remember how I said earlier that it is likely that all of the challenges the main cast go through are just simulations? And even if the cast dies in the challenge, they're completely fine with no bruises or scratches picked up from them whatsoever. So even if the Nopon Archsage were to throw Zen to a simulation and strip all his powers, he'd still lose. However, if the Nopon Archsage by choice makes the challenges simulations in order to not bring upon actual harm to the participants, well, he could just not make it a simulation and summon everything he wanted. But it isn't clear if he has the ability to do that. I mean, the only thing we really see him actually physically do is give out swimsuits to the cast. But that doesn't necessarily give off a really menacing vibe, to be honest. At the very least, we know that if the Nopon Archsage can use his powers outside the likely simulations, he beats every character in every game combined. He just has infinite resources to pull from. He could summon the most powerful person in existence to fight on his side, and there would be nothing you could do about it. But once again, that reinforces the idea that the Nopon Archsage knows of his ability to do this, yet he doesn't use it. He could try to conquer the world and nobody could stop him unless they got some real thick plot armor. But yet, he doesn't do this. He's just vibing in his own world and gives goodies to the cast for indulging in his wish to see some cool fights break out. But listen, if the Nopon Archsage snaps, well, we know who the big bad in Xenoblade 4 is gonna be. Just warning you now. Well, that's that answer. Thank you all so much for watching until the end of the video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. It's free and it helps support the channel a lot. And if you think I missed anything or you just want to leave a comment on what I said, please consider leaving a comment down below. I read every comment, even the 2,000-word essay ones. But with that, I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you are. This is Crystalized, signing out.